Is violence an inherent part of human nature, or is it a trait we share with our closest relatives, the chimpanzees? It's a question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers alike for centuries. Today, we're inviting you on a journey that will challenge the way you perceive the world and its inhabitants. We'll venture into the heart of the African wilderness, where Jane Goodall first documented the startlingly human-like behavior of our primate cousins in Gombe, Tanzania. We're not talking about their use of tools or their complex social structures, but something far more sinister: warfare, murder, and cruelty. Behaviors that we, in our arrogance, have long thought were exclusive to humans. As we navigate through this exploration, we'll confront the uncomfortable parallels between our societies and theirs, between human aggression and chimpanzee territorial motivations. To answer this question, we'll take a deep dive into the world of chimpanzee warfare. The Gombe War, a 4-year violent conflict between two communities of chimpanzees, was first observed by Jane Goodall. In the lush forests of Gombe, Tanzania, a tale of warfare and violence unfolded that challenged our understanding of animal behavior. Two communities of chimpanzees, once a united group, found themselves embroiled in a brutal conflict that spanned over 4 years. This wasn't a simple skirmish, but a calculated and strategic war for control, territory, and supremacy. The root cause of this war was territorial. As populations grew, resources became scarce and competition fierce. Each community sought to expand its territory, leading to violent clashes at the borders. The warfare was strategic and coordinated, with chimpanzees forming alliances, conducting patrols, and launching ambush attacks. They used their intelligence and strength to outmaneuver and overpower their opponents. The consequences of the Gombe War were dire. Deaths were not an uncommon sight. The victorious community didn't just win territory, they annihilated their rivals. Once thriving groups of chimpanzees were reduced to mere remnants, a stark reminder of the ruthless nature of the conflict. Jane Goodall, who first noted this warfare, was shocked by the violence. It was a far cry from the peaceful, social creatures she had initially observed. The chimpanzees demonstrated a capacity for cruelty and aggression that was eerily reminiscent of human warfare. Their actions were driven by the same motivations that have sparked countless human conflicts: power, control, and survival. But why is this important? Apart from the sheer shock value of such violence in the animal kingdom, the Gombe War served as a reminder of our shared ancestry with these primates. It provided a glimpse into the darker aspects of our evolutionary past, shedding light on the origins of our own capacity for conflict and violence. The Gombe War was not an isolated incident. The echoes of this conflict can be seen in other chimpanzee communities across Africa, suggesting a common pattern of behavior. It's a sobering thought that our closest animal relatives, the chimpanzees, are capable of such brutality, reminding us that war and violence are not uniquely human traits. In Kibale National Park, Uganda, similar patterns of violence were observed. Beyond the borders of Gombe, in the lush greenery of Kibale National Park, Uganda, another tale of violence among our closest relatives was unfolding. Here, the chimpanzees were not just engaged in brutal wars over territory, but they displayed behaviors that sent shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned researchers. One such behavior was infanticide. Yes, you heard right, infanticide. This is the intentional killing of infants within the species, a phenomenon that's not unique to humans, as it turns out. A chilling reminder that the struggle for survival can sometimes overshadow the instinct to protect the young ones. Yet the violence in Kibale did not stop there. Cannibalism, the act of consuming one's own kind, was also observed. This behavior, which seems so alien to our human sensibilities, is in fact another survival strategy that has evolved in various animal species, including chimpanzees. It's a stark reminder of the harsh realities of the natural world, where survival often trumps morality. When compared to the Gombe War, the violence in Kibale seems to be more gruesome, more visceral. Yet it's important to remember that both are driven by the same primal instincts: the drive to survive, to protect one's territory, to ensure the continuation of one's genes. The chimpanzees in Kibale, like those in Gombe, were not mindlessly violent. They were simply doing what they needed to survive in a world that can be as cruel as it is beautiful. They were playing by the rules of nature, rules that we, as humans, often forget we are also subject to. The violence is not limited to intergroup conflicts. It permeates through all aspects of their lives, a reflection of the harsh realities of their world. As we delve deeper into this topic, we are reminded of how complex and intricate the natural world truly is, and how much we still have to learn from it. Even within their own groups, chimpanzees can resort to fatal violence. This might sound shocking, but it's a reality in the world of our closest genetic relatives. Take, for instance, the tragic story of Fuduko in Senegal. Once a high-ranking male in his group, Fuduko was overthrown and exiled by his fellow chimpanzees. After years of living on the outskirts, Fuduko attempted to return to the group. But instead of a warm welcome, he was met with a brutal and ultimately fatal attack from his former comrades. So why do such violent internal conflicts occur among chimpanzees? The answer lies in their complex social hierarchy. Just like us humans, chimpanzees live in communities and follow a set of rules and norms. These rules are enforced by dominant individuals, often males, who are responsible for maintaining order within the group. However, when a dominant individual's power is threatened, things can quickly turn violent. This violent behavior is a means of asserting dominance and maintaining social order, much like how human societies have experienced revolutions and power struggles throughout history. Moreover, competition for resources like food and mates can also lead to conflict. In Fuduko's case, his attempt to rejoin the group was seen as a threat to the current power dynamics and resource distribution, leading to his tragic end. Yet, it's not all grim. Chimpanzees also display a wide range of positive social behaviors like cooperation, altruism, and empathy. They form strong bonds with each other, engage in social grooming, and even console one another after conflicts. These behaviors, just like the violent ones, reflect the complexity of their social structures and emotional lives. The parallels between human and chimpanzee aggression aren't coincidental. Indeed, by studying our primate cousins, we can gain valuable insights into our own nature, the origins of our behaviors, and the complex interplay of cooperation and conflict that shapes our societies. So, what drives this violence in chimpanzees? Let's delve into the science behind the violence. The factors that contribute to chimpanzee violence can broadly be categorized into two: biological and environmental. Chimpanzees, like humans, are inherently social creatures. They live in complex communities, form alliances, and even wage wars. The biological underpinnings of this violent behavior can be traced back to their genetic makeup. Chimpanzees share about 98% of their DNA with humans, which means we have a common ancestor. This shared ancestry suggests that the capacity for violence could be an evolutionary trait hardwired into our genetic code. Now let's talk about the environmental factors. Chimpanzees are territorial animals. They fiercely defend their territories against intruders. When resources become scarce, competition intensifies, often leading to violence. This territorial aggression is not unlike human warfare, where disagreements over land and resources can escalate into conflict. But it's not all about territory. Social dynamics play a significant role too. Power struggles within a group can lead to violent clashes. Chimpanzees, much like humans, have a hierarchical social structure. When a dominant individual's position is threatened, they may resort to violence to maintain their status. So, you see, the factors that drive violence in chimpanzees are strikingly similar to those that trigger human aggression. From a biological perspective, our shared genetic heritage may predispose both species to violence. Environmentally, scarcity of resources and the need to maintain social hierarchy can also ignite violent behavior. But it's important to remember, violence is not the only response to these triggers. Chimpanzees, like humans, are capable of empathy, cooperation, and conflict resolution. The dark side of their behavior doesn't define them entirely, just as it doesn't define us. Understanding chimpanzee violence can provide insights into our own behavior. By studying our closest living relatives, we can learn more about the roots of human aggression and how to manage it. What does chimpanzee violence tell us about human nature? This question hovers in our minds as we delve into the implications of our primate cousins' violent behaviors. The stark parallels between human and chimpanzee aggression are fascinating, yet unsettling. Like humans, chimpanzees engage in warfare for territorial conquest. They too display internal group conflicts leading to fatal attacks. This shared propensity for violence suggests that aggression is not a unique human trait, but rather a deeply ingrained part of our shared evolutionary history. However, it's essential to remember that the reasons behind our actions aren't solely dictated by our genes or our evolutionary past. Yes, we share a common ancestor with chimpanzees, but we also have the capacity for rational thought, empathy, and cooperation, which can serve as powerful counterbalances to our more primal instincts. That said, the violence seen in chimpanzee societies serves as a stark reminder of our own dark potential. It underlines the importance of societal norms, laws, and moral codes in maintaining peace and harmony within human societies. Furthermore, the study of chimpanzee violence brings to light the role of resources and environment in triggering conflict. Just as territorial disputes among chimps often arise from competition for food and mates, many human conflicts can be traced back to similar struggles over resources. This understanding could guide us in finding effective strategies to resolve human conflicts, from personal disagreements to international disputes. Yet it's not all doom and gloom. The capacity for violence is just one facet of our complex nature, and acknowledging it doesn't diminish our potential for kindness, empathy, and cooperation. Instead, it equips us with a more nuanced understanding of ourselves, encouraging us to consciously cultivate our better traits and work towards societies that are fair, peaceful, and just. The lessons from the chimpanzee wars are both enlightening and alarming. They challenge us to confront the darker aspects of our nature while also reminding us of our capacity to rise above them. In conclusion, the chimpanzee wars tell us that violence is not a uniquely human trait. This revelation, although disconcerting, is crucial to our understanding of not just primates, but ourselves as well. The Gombe War, observed by Jane Goodall, was a stark reminder of this. Spanning 4 years, this conflict resulted in a territorial conquest marked by death and brutality, mirroring the wars we humans have waged for centuries. The chimpanzees, much like us, were driven by a desire for dominance and control and resorted to violence to achieve it. This pattern of violence was not limited to Gombe, however. The chimpanzees of Kibale National Park in Uganda also exhibited disturbing behaviors, including infanticide and cannibalism, further challenging our notion of what it means to be human. These actions, once considered exclusively human, were being enacted by our closest genetic relatives. Furthermore, the internal conflicts within chimpanzee groups, such as the murder of Fuduko in Senegal, provide us with a grim view of power dynamics and social hierarchies, again reflecting the darker aspects of our own societies. These instances of violence and cruelty among chimpanzees have significant implications for our understanding of human nature. They force us to question whether our capacity for conflict and cruelty is ingrained in our DNA, or if it's a byproduct of our environment and circumstances. As we delve deeper into the study of our closest relatives, we are confronted with these uncomfortable parallels. It's a humbling reminder that we are not so different after all. Yet it also provides us with a unique opportunity to learn from these parallels, to better understand our own capacity for violence and hopefully to find ways to nurture our capacity for peace and cooperation. As we continue to study our closest relatives, we can only hope to better understand ourselves and our capacity for both violence and peace.